We crossed the Tropic of Capricorn to get to our next hotel at St. Augustine, between Tulear and Anakao. Caliente Beach was very different as it had so many mangroves growing in the sand, which also meant there were more birds. These mangroves had hundreds of air-breathing roots sticking up out of the sand. They have lovely sweet-smelling flowers which attract insects and birds. There were two lads who were singing and playing a crude but tuneful homemade guitar whilst watching their goats grazing amongst the mangroves. Early in the morning we watched people walking to market along the beach. The only sounds were birds singing. We then returned to the bustle of Tulear to get on a small speedboat which took us further south to Anakao, across the large bay of St. Augustine. We didn't know beforehand that we were to be transferred to the boat in ox carts, which was great fun.
We need to fill in the forms now. Look at them going out there.
That's our luggage.
Didn't see this in the hand. Say this in the hand. Look at it. Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. It took 1 hour to reach Anakao on the boat instead of a 4.5-hour drive on sand tracks. We saw some bottlenose dolphins and a humpback whale when we passed outside the reef. Our individual bungalows were right by the beach, which was different from the previous 2 beaches.
There was no fishing or birds, but so many beautiful shells of all shapes and sizes and colours. As there are no poisonous snakes in Madagascar, we enjoyed getting close to them without any fear. There was nothing but sand everywhere. The plants and bushes were thorny or succulent, but some even had flowers. We spent a day in Lake Tsimanampetsotsa National Park, which was the furthest south we reached. The tracks were all sandy. In places the sand was so fine and deep and white that it was like snow and was only passable using four-wheel drive. Lake Tsimanampetsotsa is a shallow soda lake which is 10 miles long and has greater and lesser flamingos on it, as well as other water birds. We drove around the lake to the east side and walked on the lake shore and up the steep escarpment onto the vast limestone plateau. There were lovely views of the lake from the top. The lake is sacred to the local people due to its salinity. It is therefore fadi or taboo to cross the lake or sail on it. The lake is fed by 5 subterranean rivers that come up to the surface from under the limestone plateau. The lake is never more than 2 meters deep, even at the height of the rainy season. The vast limestone plateau is yet another fascinating ecosystem with some of the best spiny forest and lots of surprises. The first surprise was a cave with a small lake which was home to mascarene martins which were nesting and little white blind fish. There were more baobabs, including this one which is thought to be 3,000 years old. The forest hasn't been burnt, it's just that all the trees look dead in the long, dry, hot season, although there were occasional signs of new life. Another surprise was an immense single banyan tree with a forest of aerial roots. Some of the roots went 20 metres down the side of a limestone sinkhole where there was deep water which went into an underground cave. Not only was the tree covered with green leaves, but it was alive with birds and animals. The ring-tailed lemurs had no fear of us, but were very tense because of a huge harrier hawk sitting above them, waiting for the chance to take one of their babies. We returned to Anakao for our last night at the coast before flying the next morning from Tulear back to Antananarivo.